Hi, everyone. Thanks again for joining us for another episode of the Daily BizLink. Kathleen Gramzay is joining us again for this Wednesday Wellness series, and we're continuing the conversation on self-empowered health, where we'll be talking about the impacts of relationships on resilience. So, Kathleen, thanks for being here.
My pleasure. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
Yes, today we are talking about one of the most important impacts of resilience or on resilience, which is relationships. And we really want to look at it in two ways today. Number one, neurologically, right? Because that's what we're always talking about, how we are operating without knowing how we're operating. So neurologically, we are wired to literally look for, listen for, and feel for cues of safety from each other, from people in general. And we are wired to actually re-regulate each other, which is very cool. It's like a built-in perfect system in that sense. But that's why true connection really happens through our senses. So it happens when we are able to see each other, when we're able to hear each other, when we're able to be in each other's presence, and through, kind, loving touch and affection, right? Those are things that help us give those cues. That's why it's so important in terms of our resilience, because it does not happen through text and it doesn't happen through email. And the reason why it doesn't is because that is our mind's interpretation of that communication, right? It gets distorted through our mind. So even though our moms might have not known anything about mirror neurons like science does now, they sure knew that who we hung out with had a huge influence, either positive or negative, on who we are and how we act, right? So if you want to increase your resilience, spend time with uplifting, high quality people. It makes sense. There are 5 major benefits to spending time with quality people. Number one, they provide a sense of trust. And also, by the way, when you think about these, use it as an assessment of your relationships. Number one, they provide a sense of trust. Number 2, you can be your authentic self. Number 3, there's mutual respect. Number 4, they're empowering. And number 5, they inspire us to become better, right? They inspire us to become our best selves or be our best selves.
So I love that you provide those key things to look for, because I think that's really helpful. If you just left it up for us as individuals to interpret, we may not necessarily know what that looks like. So really appreciate you taking the time to share some of those key points. But speaking of, I would love to get your thoughts. Do you have any specific challenges that you'd like to offer to our audience this week?
Yes, absolutely. The first is to ask yourself, is there a personal or a work relationship that could benefit from more authentic connection, right? And whether that is through phone, through video, or in person. And then think about, of course, the next step is always action when we're doing our challenges. So what step are you willing to take to connect more authentically to increase the quality of that relationship? And then schedule it on your calendar. But here is the more important and most important piece of this exercise today, this time, which is I want you to think about, instead of thinking about what you want to get from them, right? Which is what we're doing. Oh yeah, I want to be around them because their energy is good, right? Well, we're flipping it. I want you to flip it. Contemplate, how can you more authentically provide a greater sense of trust, of respect, and inspiration for them in that interaction? And then come back to us to this post and let us know how it went.
Great. Well, Kathleen, as we look to wrap up today's conversation, is there anything else you'd like to leave our audience with?
Know that it's how you're being and who you're being is influencing people positively or negatively. And think about how you can increase other people's benefits today.
Great. Kathleen, thanks so much for joining us for today's episode.
My pleasure. See you soon.